Hey team, I'm going to get a bit gritty with y'all today. I might even tick some of you off, and that's okay because this is real. We're going to get life oriented here. Many of y'all are thinking this stuff, even if you're way too terrified to talk about it. This is the Shift Show where we press pause, shift the spiral, and help neurozesty midlife women build a life that actually fits. Have you ever felt like the second you finally carved out time for yourself, life came crashing in with everyone else's needs? That's the story of midlife ADHD, or neurozesty, if you're a different neurodivergent flavor, for so many of us. And it was absolutely my story. I remember the weeks leading up to college drop off. It was a little bittersweet, of course. I mean, you're sending off your baby, but I knew it was time to let her go. And she was so ready. And I was so excited for her. And underneath all of that was this quiet voice in me whispering, finally, finally, it's my time. It's my turn. After years of being the mom, the organizer, the fixer, the one who held the whole family thing together, I thought I could finally exhale. I thought I could pause. I could build my business without interruption. I could pour into myself. I could learn new things. I had space. I had possibility. And for the first time in decades, okay, 2 decades, I had time. It felt like endless hours and days and weeks stretched ahead to do all the things. And I was just so excited. No sooner had I shipped my daughter off to college than the endless caregiving of senior family members massively increased. One was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. And as a cancer survivor, that came with all sorts of emotions. And then not long after that, another had a stroke. It was all hands on deck for all four of us. There wasn't a minute to spare. Hospitals, driving, cleaning at the house, decisions to be made, discussions to be had, all about longer term care, lawyers, and doctors, and visits to facilities, and all of it all at once. Every ounce of spare time I had dreamed of using for me was gone again. And that's okay, right? But here's the truth nobody wants to say out loud. I was kind of pissed. I was feeling a lot of resentment. Yes, I love them. I love my family. I truly wanted to help. In fact, it was my honor to help. I truly felt honored. But I was at the same time furious that I had to give myself up yet again. All that hope, all that space I've been waiting for was just snatched away. And I'm sure you're thinking that makes me selfish. And then I'm whining. But I'm not here to sugarcoat how freaking tough it is to always be the caregiver and how it's a zillion times harder to juggle all of that when you have ADHD because your brain is already in overdrive. I'm not going to be here and tell you it's a superpower. It's got some great points, but not all of it's so great. So if you felt that resentment, that quiet rage, that simmering underneath, you're not alone. And I want you to know it doesn't make you selfish. It makes you human. This is the hidden toll of midlife ADHD. We're not just managing our own brains. We're raising kids. We're launching kids. We're caring for parents. Sometimes we're doing all of these things all at once. Oh, and did I mention we're working full time and we're taking care of the household. It's no wonder we feel tapped out or overwhelmed or like we never get a minute to ourselves, or God forbid, we even slip into burnout. And that happens over time, right? This is what truly happens with caregiving. Physically, you're wiped out. You're in a constant state of exhaustion and worry, which means just when you least really need a good night's sleep, if nothing else, to get through another long ass day, your sleep goes to hell. And did I mention this is likely happening while you're in perimenopause or menopause? So your sleep is already awful. Holy hot flash, Batman. And now you're up worrying at night if you made the best decisions for your seniors. I remember We were just going literally from one crisis to the next, lugging stuff out of the house, taking it to charity organizations, moving furniture so there were safe pathways in the driving. I even didn't have to do all that much of the driving. A lot of that fell to my husband. There was so much driving now. And I have to tell you, if I never see the Merritt Parkway again. Now, let's talk about emotions. You feel guilt, and I mean guilt with like a capital G. You know you should be able to handle it all without complaining, right? You're grieving not just the imminent loss of family members while simultaneously trying to enjoy every possible minute you've got left with them, but you're also grieving that lost time that you thought you'd have to do some things. Because as I mentioned, you're not getting any younger either, right? I'm not getting younger. I wish I were to a certain point. I'm sure I want to go back to my 20s, but 30s were pretty great. There's something about midlife that's all about that impact we want to make, the legacy we want to leave, and you're faced with your own mortality. And all of that's like a whole bag of mixed up emotions, right? The hardest part, nobody sees it. Nobody hands you a gold star for holding everyone else's world together. You don't get applause for being the glue. Instead, you just quietly lose little pieces of yourself in the process. By the way, where the hell is my gold star? I'm still waiting. I just think a gold star would be nice. I don't need a trophy. Gold star would be good. So before I become all Debbie Downer, if you've held with me through all of this, I'm actually here to give you some ideas around this. Because what I've learned is that resentment is actually a compass, right? It's your body's way of saying you can't keep abandoning yourself. It's time to pause. It's time to protect some of your own energy. Okay, that does not mean you stop caregiving. You're not just going to leave people and not help out. It means that you stop doing it at the expense of yourself. And that is where boundaries come in. Boundaries are really misunderstood. But boundaries are simply the lines that keep your energy from leaking everywhere else but you. They're not walls, they're protection. And they're for you. They don't have to be, they can be small, tiny, doable shifts. Maybe it's that you take 10 minutes of quiet in the car before you walk into the house. Maybe it's finally asking for help instead of trying to muscle through it all alone. Maybe it's saying no to one more obligation you just don't have the bandwidth for and trusting that someone else will take care of it. And by the way, this might mean that you drop like a charity thing for a little while because you're already doing charity at home. So the people who are taking care of it, they might not do it as well as you, or the way you would do it, or the way you think you would do it. But that's less important than putting your oxygen mask on first. So hang on while I mix metaphors. You cannot draw from an empty well. And I've learned this the hard way. You have to refill your well before you can give to others. And the point is, tiny pauses, small shifts, they restore energy. They give you that your life matters just as much as everyone else's. Boundaries aren't selfish, they're survival. And for women like us in midlife with ADHD brains already stretched thin, boundaries are the difference between barely holding it together and actually having a life that remembers you have needs and dreams too. It's really important. I want you to hear that. So if you're in the thick of it right now, caregiving for everyone else while wondering if there will ever be space for you, please hear this when I say your resentment is valid, even if you don't want to talk about it. Your exhaustion is real and your needs matter. You don't have to disappear to keep everyone else alive and well. There are other people out there who can help. You get to be here too. And that shift is where your power begins. Thanks for watching. Every like, subscribe, and comment helps this message reach way more neurozesty, high-achieving, overwhelmed women who deserve support. Thanks for being part of the Shift Show and shifting with me. Last but not least, remember, if no one has told you lately, you're allowed to take up space in your own life. You matter.